It's Brad J with your Tame Your Talent podcast, effective for your Tuesday. How you doing? Brad J in the hot seat with you and hanging with you, right? And bringing you the latest podcast. I got the car packed and loaded. I'll get into that in a second right now. So this is just a quick podcast before I get on the road and drive about 8 hours today to my destination. And I'll talk about that. But before I get into it, hey, if exclusive behind-the-scenes stuff, if you want to follow myself and my announcer travels and where I go and where I'm going to be next, follow all my exclusive behind-the-scenes action on the Tame Your Talent YouTube page. That's Tame Your Talent on YouTube. Also posting the old podcast on there as well. So if you missed one of those and you want to follow behind the scenes, hey, look no further. Subscribe on YouTube to my Tame Your Talent page, okay? And also, if you love that quality rock and roll, just know that every night, 7 p.m., during every weeknight, starting at 7 p.m. on the West Coast, I bring you 6 hours of classic rock on ktyd.com. That's ktyd.com. So not only can you get your fill of Brad J on a podcast, but you can listen to 6 hours of me dropping classic rock on top of your skull. How about that one, huh? Pretty good deal right there. All right. I made mention to the car being loaded. All right. The car is stacked and racked, ready to get on the road. Where am I going? I'm heading out to a competition. It is an Olympic qualifier competition taking place in Steamboat Springs, Colorado. And I'm supposed to be there by tomorrow. I'm driving from Cali, West Coast, all the way to Steamboat Springs, somewhere around 15 hours. So probably going to make it about halfway or something like that. But I'm going to get out there. And it's the Visa Big Air competition. So it's a big air competition for snowboarding and for free skiing. Now, this is Olympic qualifier. Now, free skiing was not in the Pyeongchang 2018 Olympics, was not for big air. It was for slope style, and it was for half pipe. But big air, which is another event that I do, we're not in there. So skiing is making its debut in the Olympics. Now, you got to have these big air competitions. The problem is COVID's been raining on the parade. Like, all the COVID stuff shut down pretty much mostly all the winter events. And so any winter event that was held, including X Games last year, had no crowd. No spectators were allowed. So what's happening right now is events are starting to come back, and there's COVID protocols that go along with it. So now you have to follow whatever the COVID rules are. And I've been following the COVID protocols all the way back in the middle of summer, or actually the start of summer in June, when I was in El Salvador for the ISA World Surfing Championships. Now, those were Olympic qualifiers for surfing in Tokyo. And so that was the start of it. That was the first time I had to deal with it. You know, you're masking up inside when you get there. When you're on the mic, you're able to take the mask off when you're hosting the shows and things like that. But you follow the protocols. That means the testing protocol within 72 hours or a vaccination card. You always have to have both no matter what, though. What I've noticed on my travels so far, and going to Tokyo and going to El Salvador and doing events in a COVID era, that pretty much every place I've gone to, if you have a vaccination card, which I have, I'm vaccinated. But if you have one, you still have to get tested. That's the thing. You still have to be tested. So no matter what, even if you didn't have that card, you still have to go through the testing. And I don't know if that's the reliability they have on, the vaccine itself or what, but testing is what's being required. So that's what we're going to be doing. We have an official testing policy because this is all sanctioned through FIS, and that is the governing body for skiing and snowboarding in the Olympic Games. So there's going to be some hoops to jump through, but I'll tell you what, I try to be on the positive side always. And the great thing about this is events are coming back, and I'm supposed to do 3 events in a row. So I'm supposed to do this event, right? I'll break this down for you. First of all, you can probably watch all the action for the Big Air on the Peacock, if you know about that one. That is a streaming service, I think, with NBC. Search on that, find out about it. But Saturday, the finals for both skiing and snowboarding will be on the Peacock from what I just read. So there you go right there. So you'll be able to check that out. But so I'm going from right now, leaving the West Coast, driving to Steamboat Springs, Colorado. It's going to take me 2 days to get there. And then from that event, we go straight over to Copper Mountain, which is just like an hour or so away from Steamboat. And another Olympic qualifier, this time the Olympic qualifier for half-pipe snowboarding, half-pipe skiing, And then, of course, skiing and snowboarding slopestyle as well. So another Olympic qualifier for that week. And if you think that's done, so that's the next weekend, right? Once that one finishes, another one moves into town. It's called the Mountain Dew Tour. And the Mountain Dew Tour is a dew tour that I've been doing a summer and winter since, oh my gosh. I'd have to go back to about 2006, 2007 when I started working for the Dew Tour. So I've really built a super strong relationship with them. And so Dew Tour comes in the very next weekend. So it's Steamboat Springs one weekend, the next weekend Copper, the weekend after that Copper, come home for Christmas, and then head over to Mammoth, which is Mammoth Mountain is about a 5.5 hour drive from my house here in Cali. And that's where we name the Olympic team officially that goes to Beijing. That's the team we name. And we do that at, I think, right around January 7th or January 8th. So we'll know who's going to Beijing. And that brings me up to Beijing. Like a lot of talk. Like if you're following any of the politics, what's going on with anything going on in the world, you see kind of that kind of stuff popping up. And then people always say, Brad, you gonna go to Beijing? And I bring it back to this. This is my 6th Olympics that I'm going to do. And every single Olympic Games, every single one, without question, somebody has always said to me, are you going to go? I wouldn't go to that one. Too much political unrest. Something bad could happen. I've heard that on every single Olympic Games. And I'll go back and tell you which ones I heard it. 2002, I heard that in Salt Lake. You know what? I just have to block that out. Didn't listen to it. Went to Salt Lake, had an amazing time. 2004, went to Greece to do the Olympics out there in Athens. I was told not to go to Greece. Don't do it. Don't do it. Went to Greece, had an amazing time, an experience that I'll never, ever be able to forget from being able to go out there. But I was told, once again, not to go. Fast forward to 2010, the Olympics moved to Vancouver in Canada, Whistler area, right? Vancouver and Whistler. Well, I was told, don't do that, man. That's going to be dangerous over there. Bad things are going to happen in Canada, that's for sure. It's only a matter of time. So I didn't listen to that. I went to Canada, was not scared. Nothing happened. Great experience out there. Love it over there. Love Vancouver, love Whistler. And I had a great time there, okay? Keep going. 2014, Sochi, Russia. You know how many people came out of the woodwork on this one and told me not to go to the Olympics? Everybody. Every single one of my friends. Not every single one, but a vast majority of them. Everybody was just, don't go to Russia. Don't go to Russia. And if you go to Russia, put your head down. Don't look anyone in the eyes. And I was in Russia for 7 weeks, right? And I think 2 of them completely solo by myself in Russia. Did I have a hard time? Did I have to stare at the ground and not look people in the eye? It's absolutely false. I went there and had an amazing experience. Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of mashed potatoes for breakfast, but that's a Russian thing, all right? But I was all right with it. And the experience over there and the people that I met, I'm still friends with. In every single one of these Olympics, I've made friends with people during those games that I'm still friends with today. And you can't replace that. You can't replace that at all. So 7 weeks in Russia, people said, don't go, don't go, don't go, don't go. Went, okay? All good, no problem. Came back unscathed, happy, and that was all great. In fact, came back with a good chunk of change that the wife and I opened a frozen yogurt shop in Washington. That's a whole nother story. I'm not going to get into that one. Okay, now let's keep going. 2018, Pyeongchang, South Korea, the Olympics, right? Was I told not to go to those Olympics? Yes, I was told not to go to those Olympics. Don't go, don't go, don't go. Something's going to happen in South Korea. There's going to be a terrorist attack. Brad, don't go. I went. And I'll tell you what, I snowboarded my butt off. I had a great time, met good people, hung out with a good crew, and just had a most awesome time doing those Olympics. Okay, now let's fast forward, right? Do you see the trend here? You see how every single Olympics someone tells me I shouldn't go, and 99% of it's all a political reason why I shouldn't go, all right? So now let's move to Tokyo Olympics that we just had, right? Tokyo Olympics. I mean, since it got postponed a year, I was told for a year leading up to the original date, don't go, don't go, don't go. Tokyo is not a safe place to go for the Olympics, okay? So then Tokyo gets postponed a year, and people are saying, well, you're lucky it got postponed, but I definitely wouldn't go in a year with COVID and everything going crazy. I just wouldn't go to Tokyo. Last place I would go. Went to Tokyo to the Olympics and had an amazing experience. Again, met awesome people and enjoyed myself thoroughly. Made friends for life out there. So you see, when people come to me and start saying to me, like, you're going to go to the Olympics? You're going to go to China? You're going to go to Tokyo? You're going to Russia? And tell me not to do things? Look, if I would have listened to the naysayers from the first Olympics I ever did back in 2002, I would never have the experience that I have had over all these Olympic Games that I've done. So for me, that is so cherished. And try not, for me, whatever your prescription in through life is, that's fine. But for me, I don't try to equate all my work with a political situation. And if I did, I would never do the Olympics, because every time the Olympics comes up, there's some sort of political stance that somebody's saying something or someone's doing something. That's not me. This has been a job for me, an experience that I've always wanted to do since I was a little kid, first watching the Olympics on TV. So for me, it's not going to taint it. I'm going to continue to do Olympic Games all the way through till I'm 6 feet underground. And so whatever you want to say, that's what I feel about the whole thing. And so, yes, I am going to Beijing in February, and I'm also doing 4 Olympic qualifiers and the X Games before I even go to Beijing. So there you go. And enough of me yapping, man. I got the Yukon XL loaded up right now, and I got to get the heck out of here. Thanks for tuning in. Hey, I'm going to do behind the scenes from my events all these next 3 weeks. So if you want to see all the behind the scenes footage, I'm going to put that up on the Tame Your Talent YouTube page. Just subscribe, Just subscribe. You'll be glad you did. You'll get some cool behind the scenes stuff, and you'll be entertained. Promise I'll make you laugh. And if you want to tune in Monday through Friday, I got a great radio show. It's all about classic rock. It's 7 p.m., 12 a.m. on the West Coast. That's Pacific Standard Time if you want to tune into that show. That's pretty awesome. Okay, ktyd.com. My email, feel free to email any question whatsoever at tameyourtalent@gmail.com. I'm Brad J. This is Tame Your Talent. Thanks for tuning in for your Tuesday. See ya.